Welcome, everybody. My name is Matt Campbell. I am your co-host for the comic book showdown of Ultimate Destiny today, and and with me, as always, is Smurf. Smurf, introduce yourself.
I am Smurf. I am the founder and purveyor of all that is geeky at 5280 Geek. I'm also the co-founder of the Colorado Festival of Horror and just man about town. And if you see me in a Ghostbuster suit, don't be alarmed.
Right on, right on. Well, I've had a pretty productive week working on Mythica and getting things moving forward with that. What have you been up to this week?
This week was the usual chaos and mayhem of posting stuff. So many events going on, getting ready for Fan Expo Denver. We did an event in Colorado Springs over the weekend to promote the 6 Feet Under Horror Film Festival. All of the Scream Queens were there, like Brink Stevens and Michelle, and it was just so much fun. So watched we watched some classically bad horror movies. I mean, they're not bad, but Chainsaw.
Those are the best
Hollywood.
kind of horror movies to watch.
Well, I mean, there's Hollywood Chainsaw hookers. There's Frankenhooker. There's the sorority sisters in the slime Bolorama. So, I mean, those are the three films. They are classics. The sorority sisters by far is probably the best quality of the three, but it's that classic 80s high tech special effects happening right then and there.
Oh. Yeah, sometimes that's just the greatest to just sit back and enjoy the cheese.
The cheese. I mean, the cheese is strong. The cheese is so strong. But I mean, there's just I mean, and I remember like seeing some of these movies in the theater, and I remember like Frankenhooker was one that was just so prevalent everywhere, like in all of the video stores. And I watched that on the VCR. So I don't even remember how we got a hold of it because we're wee nippers, and the chance of watching a horror film about a hooker is just not something our parents probably would have been too excited about watching.
Not at all. Not at all. Right on.
It was fun and it was good, and now it's back to the grind. We have this week coming up. We're doing Hero Day as Ghostbusters. We'll be in a school promoting and answering young minds' questions, and I'm already doing an interview with their what is it? I guess the school newspaper. I have an interview with some kids, so I'm curious.
What it sounds like.
Yeah, and then my background being broadcast and all that, I'm very excited to see what the minds of the new journalists and videographers is at right now. So that's this week, and then we're planning stuff for Fan Expo July 4th. We're already setting the booth. We're already working on everything, so it'll be fun. So we're excited. We'll let you know where we're going to be.
Right on, right on. Always exciting stuff happening over at 5280 Geek. So you guys be sure and check it out on their Facebook page, as well as a podcast.
This week we did Weekend Geek Update. We talked about a bunch of different, just basic stuff catching my eye. Like I finished my 3-body problem review because that season is done. Talking about Fallout, which is spectacular. If you haven't watched it,
I'm probably going to start watching it tonight.
Oh, it is so good. There's no way they could have ever done a movie for this series. It is just so good, so well done, and they're starting to break the mold of not having good series or movies based on video games. Because Last of Us was great. This was great. I think we're starting to see a buck in the trend.
Yeah, I liked seeing that, and I hope that's what I hope for Mythica someday, is that like to see it in a show stretched out just long enough that you can really get into the meat and potatoes of the characters. That just doesn't work quite as well as a crammed in 2-hour movie or something. So that's definitely my goal. So I love seeing when those shows do it well. So Becky says Frankenhooker was so good. I totally want to go watch it now. But yeah, this week was busy for me for mostly working on getting the things done with Mythica. Also, my comic book class has completed their interior pages, and I've completed the cover. So now it's up to me. In the next couple of days, I need to assemble the book and get the interiors laid out and get it off to the printer so they can have it back in their hands by the time the class finishes around May 6th. So it's just around the corner. And I use Bob up in Denver to get that done and get it back.
Bob Conway, that man is the pillar of the community. God love Bob.
He really is. He really is. And, you know, the reason that I always go to him for these comic books is that, you know, he's really reliable in getting them done. And in some cases, if it's, you know, a rush, I can go meet him, drive up to Denver and pick them up. And he's really good about that. So if you guys are in the Denver area, seek out Bob Conway from Avante Print and Graphics.
And the quality work that Bob does is really nice. I mean, I've seen him do turnarounds so fast and deliver a quality product, which usually, I mean, you when you do the rush, you gamble a bit. It's okay, but Bob always delivers quality, and that's what I love about him. And that and his sparkling personality. The man is rapier wit.
And just a hippie. Like, I don't think I've ever seen him not wearing sandals.
I don't think so either. I really don't.
I love it. All right, guys, let's get to what you came in for. This is the the comic book showdown of Ultimate Destiny. So let's jump right in. We've got a lot of contestants today. A lot of submissions were made. Let's go ahead and pull that up over here. There we go. Now, just so you guys know, in case you're watching right now or watching later, that we only pull these names from the post on the Action Studios post on the Action Studios Facebook page. You might see it shared in a group somewhere. If you see that, make sure that you actually click on it and post on there. So because we don't really have the ability to continue to jump back to all the groups and see who posted and who didn't and assemble them all. So we're only getting the ones from there. And we got a lot of great ones. I tried not to look at them as I opened them up and made sure they were active, but all of these were active. And I'm looking forward to seeing which ones we get. The way this works, if you are new to the show, is we're going to let the Wheel of Destiny decide which 3 we are going to live react to. Smurf and I will then open up the Kickstarter and watch any videos that might be there, read the intro content, and decide based on whether or not it hooks us. Matt Knoll says there's some massive quality campaigns on here, top competition. I totally agree, Matt. I'm looking forward to seeing some of these. If you guys don't know Matt, he's heavily involved in the indie community as well. So be sure to follow him because he'll have lots of books coming out in the future, I'm sure. All right, so let's get to it. Right here, we're going to click on the first one. Let's go. I should have gone down the list of names first, but we'll do that in a second. First off, we've got Bad Wabbit 1 and 2. Can you hear the applause? you okay with that?
You know what? It just kind of sunk in. Like, okay, you got me hooked on the name. That's a good start.
All right. Well, you guys did go with that one. I'm pulling up the link right now. Let's see. Let me find the Bad Wabbit link. Showing all comments.
I mean, the name is just as important as the campaign. I mean,
I agree.
I don't know if I'd sign up for, you know, the showdown of Joey Bag of Donuts versus the hot dog cart or something like that. You know, Bad Wabbit, you got me. I'm gonna go check it out.
All right, let's hope it's as good as the name.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to run through the list of the ones we have left. For all those of you that are listening or they're watching, we've got Neverland, which I believe is a collected volume. We've got Cerber 1 and 2, Tales from Nocturna, Marks, A Tale of Survival, Jellybean Dream, The End of All, Terminus 1 and 2, Wolf Peach Horror Classics #1, Mercer #1, and Evie and the Helsings 1 through 3. I found that one interesting. At first, I thought it was a typo. I thought they were meant to spell evil and like misspelled it, but then I opened it and I was like, oh, I get it. Paul's saying, let's go Wolf Beach. All right, next up, let's see if Wolf Beach wins. Looks like Neverland.
Okay.
All right, let me pull up the Neverland campaign. All right, we got that one pulled up. Congratulations, Neverland. All right, the last entry for our Wheel of Destiny for this week. Remember, if you didn't get entered in this week's, if your campaign is still going next week, you can try again as long as you didn't get into the top 3 here today. The end of all, Terminus 1 and 2. All right, real quickly, let me find that one. There were a lot of submissions this time around, so thank you guys all for all the submissions.
It's encouraging to see the creative community actually out there working, doing, putting in the time, putting in the effort, the work.
Yeah, at any given time, there are 200 to 300 comic book campaigns going on Kickstarter, if you can believe it. And so the indie community is really, really, been cranking it out. I feel like it's almost like it's like the new webtoons. There we go. I got the link. It's like the new webtoons. It's like if you have an idea, you can go there. You can pitch your idea. You can get people to check it out. And if just like on webtoons, if they like it and you're consistent, then people will keep following, coming back, and you grow. One thing I will say over the years of experience I've had in making Kickstarters is I think the one difference is that you can go onto webtoons and build an audience much easier than you can go onto Kickstarter and build an audience. In Kickstarter, it's ideal to bring your audience. Already have one built, already established a fandom, whether that's through an email list or through a following on one of your social media platforms, and bring them over. Because if you just rely on Kickstarter alone to just suddenly see your stuff, it's not really going to pan out very well most of the time. So that being said, what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at these 3 contestants: Bad Wabbit, the Neverland hardcover, and The End of All, Terminus 1 and 2. And we're going to see which one of these hooks us based on the information we're given. And we're going to choose one to back. So here we go. First up is going to be Bad Wabbit. So I'm glad you love it. Let's see. Which one do you like better, this one or this one?
Yeah, that was fine.
All right, we're gonna go with this one. Let's see. We got Bad Wabbit 1 and 2. Bad Wabbit is back. Join Wabbit on the 2nd installment of his romp through his dystopian world. High-flying adventure awaits. All right.
Okay.
Let's see what kind of high-flying adventure awaits. What kind of story we're looking at? Is it violent? Is it funny? Let's find out. It looks kind of dark based on the artwork.
I mean, Wabbit looks like he's seen one too many seasons. I mean, that's a hardened rabbit right there.
It certainly is. And we've got a pig over here with a mask on.
Okay.
Almost looks like a gas mask. So let's find out. Hopefully you guys can see and hear this. Can't tell if it's playing or not. There it goes. It was not playing.
It was not playing.
I was going to say, is there any sound?
I'm not hearing any.
You don't hear any sound? Maybe you have it muted so there's no feedback. Probably did that.
No, but
It just stopped. Oh, there we go.
do something, Wabbit.
Mhm.
Okay, some take on some classic covers. I like it.
Yeah, yeah, I've definitely seen like the stack of skulls before. So were you able to ever get the audio to work for you?
I didn't hear anything, but I kind of can
Interesting. Well, I can tell
extract
you that it had a pretty upbeat sound. I think there may be an issue about you know playing it so that you can hear it, because when I played back the video from last I almost said last class last week, um, the I could hear the music just fine when I played it back, and so maybe it's just for you. We'll find out as we continue trying to do this from week to week. We'll work out the kinks along the way. But I can tell you that the music was very upbeat, kind of actiony, and the positives were it felt like the opening was so quiet. I thought maybe I had the audio off, and then it didn't kick in until about right here. So a good solid 10 seconds of absolute no sound whatsoever made me go, wait, is the sound working? And then it started to kick in here. And then we got into these like action scenes, which was on the one hand intriguing. I was like, hey, I can tell something's going on here. It's exciting. I could read some things, like if they were short enough, like this and this. Can you see what I'm sharing?
Yep.
Okay. And then there were other times where, there was these big chunks of dialogue that were just not on the screen long enough to be able to read. And they seem to be
Yeah.
the thing I'm supposed to be looking at, because that's the dominant part of the page.
Yep. And that's a lot of dialogue to get through in 3 seconds.
Yeah. So a pointer for anybody that puts dialogue on the page, whether it's dialogue in a word balloon or dialogue as some sort of like movie style, graphic, um, read it out loud to yourself and then give another second or two beyond that, because when you read it to yourself and you've seen it, hundreds of times, you're kind of skimming through it. When you read it out loud, you can only say it as fast as your mouth can move. So it's going to slow it down a little bit, and then give it a little bit more than that, 10, 20% more time. And I heard that, whatever you're doing just there, made a weird vibrating sound. But it's over now. It just was for a second. Anyway, so in the end, like that, I started getting distracted by the amount of reading and losing track of paying attention to what this might be about. So I found it to be exciting. I found it to be intriguing. I'm still curious. What about you? Are you there, Smurf? Did we lose your sound?
So I got
There it
I
is.
got a few different vibes. I like yeah, I'm here. You there? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you. Just like there was a delay. You're
I
working
think we
now.
lost my sound. Oh, there it is.
Interesting. I think there is a bit of a delay
So
between
weird.
you and I.
So here's my thoughts. I I I got like tailspin out of it. I felt I there's a bit of a delay. So with the tailspin kind of aspect with the creatures and all of that, and I loved that cartoon series. I thought it was great. So to see that kind of in play was fun. And I think we've talked about this before in the past, where if you just add some small amount of dialogue that can add to the experience, that's better than the word balloons and all of that, because you don't know where your eye is supposed to go, and no one pauses a video to read anymore. It's sad, but that's the hardcore truth of it. But I do like the character designs. I like the line work, and it seems fun in a post-apocalyptic kind of style. I can already tell the relationship between Pig and Wabbit. I'm in. I already can see, just even the reaction shot of the plane going down, and to see the two of them, like that. It's like, okay, these guys are butts. I'm totally in. And even the image you have up now, where Pig is oh, I like it, and it feels fun and cartoony, but there's a story there to be told. That's for sure.
I agree. I think that there's enough there that I'm intrigued, and obviously there's enough there that other people have been intrigued, because they've already hit goal. They have. Oh, wait a minute. This must have just closed. Interesting. Like when I opened it up the first time, it was still available.
Oh, wow.
But so we might have to grab another one from the wheel, which I still have up here. So someone else might get a chance, because this is no longer available to back. But congratulations to Anthony Castro for hitting goal. Over $4,000, 69 backers. And I can see why. It's intriguing. So we're gonna get a little bit of an extra in there. Go ahead. So I do think there's a bit of a delay here for some reason. So something you might consider, Smurf, is like logging off, or like stepping out and stepping back in and seeing if that fixes it. Because I'm seeing like almost a 8-second delay, which is really pretty far. In the meantime, I'm going to grab another one. Cerber 1 and 2. Congratulations, Cerber. I'm going to go grab your link real fast. And then we have Smurf. And Smurf has returned.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
That is weird. Love the internet. Yay!
Yeah, but it seems to be in sync now, right?
Yep, we are good.
All right.
Well,
so
I mean, the respin of the wheel is going to please Paul, because Paul is watching anxiously to see if he gets chosen. So hopefully we get him.
Well, I don't think he did, because I just pulled up Cerber 1 and 2.
There you go.
I'm just trying to find there it is. There's the link. There we go. So unfortunately, the first one we looked at had closed already, but it did look interesting. Anthony, I definitely want to check that out next time.
Yep, I'm anxious. I want to see the story. I really like the art style. Line work's good. Even the colors. The colors worked really well with the environment. So I'm all for that one.
Yep. And just congratulations. Anytime you do a Kickstarter, it's always a little bit of a stressful time for people, and they need that to get their launch and get their goals and their dreams moving forward. So congrats on that. So the next one on the list was Neverland hardcover, and so we are going to take a look at that now. This is the Neverland hardcover. Looks like, again, they're trucking on towards 11,000 gold. Congratulations, 219 backers. 12 days to go. I think there is a really good chance of this one hitting its goal. Only a little over $1,500 to go with 12 days. I definitely feel like they could hit it. So let's see if this project becomes a backer of us today.
Okay.
I think there's more here.
I'm,
Hopefully,
I'm
there's more.
so this is probably going to sound weird to you, but looking at this, it's not like dark content, but the art and the colors used seem very dark, even though they're using like a brighter palette. And
Hmm.
and I'm looking at I'm probably going to have to go back and look at some of the images, but it seems very I'm losing like a lot of the detail, and the darkness is kind of distracting me. Like this should almost, I think, be lighter, and maybe it's just the shadows or like that right there. Again, so it feels darker to me. Then something needs to pop or kind of brighten it up a bit. But you know, it,
Well, I mean, I guess for one, it depends on the tone, and two, depends on how it prints. I know that,
that's
like right now, I can see a difference between the black of this Reaper character and this dark blue. Can you see
yep,
that?
yep, I can.
And the thing you have to be careful of is everything's darker in print. And so you have to ask yourself, is that going to print? And I'm sure hopefully they've done a couple prints already, so they probably have a good idea. But I do feel like it's a darker tone of book, maybe. I mean,
Right.
there's a Reaper there for one thing.
And I like the broken fairy tales. Like, okay, I mean, and then the glowy tree of birthing. I mean,
You got that too, huh?
yeah, I did. I was like, subtle. I like it. But yeah, the glowing tree of birthing, it's cool. It's like, okay, I
So,
interesting. I'm curious to see how it does. The quality looks great. I mean, the pitch at the end with the new, remastered pages and the quality of book that they're getting and all of that, which is always kind of
were
reassuring.
you able to hear the sound this time that you refreshed?
No,
No, still no sound. Okay.
still no sense.
So, do you remember if you had that experience last time?
No, yeah, last time it worked. In fact, remember
Interesting.
last time the one that was like too bright, he had his gains up too high when he was doing the video dump on that. I was like, ooh. So
Right,
now I
right,
don't
right, right.
hear anything.
Interesting, interesting. I wonder if that has anything to do with the difference this time was that I'm sharing an entire window, so I can kind of go back and forth between
That's
tabs.
that's probably it.
Last time I was sharing like one thing at a time. Maybe. But
Maybe.
again, you guys, we're working these things out as we go. We'll figure it out. But I will say that the music that went along with it was very like kind of epic tale. It was like orchestral music that was crescendoing up and down. It felt very like epic tale kind of stuff. But at a slow moving pace.
So a
Like
decent build up, because I mean it does look like epic. Like I'm going on an epic quest. I'm doing something
yeah,
that's valued and worthy of questing.
yeah. And between the delivery and obviously the name, I definitely I realize that this is somewhat connected to the Peter Pan franchise universe, which I believe is public domain now.
Yep.
Um,
And there's Captain
so,
Hook right there.
yeah, and this is a great scene. So I definitely get that connection. And I know the story of Hook. It looks like in this case it's a bit more modern because there was a pandemic and people were wearing masks. Um, and so,
And the crocodile. So I mean, we saw that going through there. So it's like, yeah, there's some pan-esque qualities to it,
for sure,
which
for
is
sure.
not a bad thing. In fact, the new Fables storyline heavily involved Peter Pan and Tinkerbell. So I think how Willingham approached that was great, and this looks just as compelling. So
Yeah. A real quick excerpt from the story part of the campaign. It says, written by Caleb Thusat and of Afterlife, Nook, Flytrap, and Super Cats, with the magical artwork by Marcelo Biont. The gorgeous colors from Robert Nugent, who, by the way, colored the last issue of my book. And the upcoming colorist from Spawn Kills Every Spawn. So yeah, my colorists have done this a couple times where I start using them and then they get well known and they get these big jobs working for big companies and I can't hardly get them anymore. And that's pretty much what happened with Robert. He was like, I'm doing Spawn stuff now. Can't do anything else. And I was like, congrats, man. Like, good job. But he's a great colorist. So I'm sure that's going to add a lot to this story. He says, this is a story about holding on to hope and love during difficult times. It's about adapting to a changing world around us. The story of a boy becoming the light a family needs in dark times. That's deep stuff going on there, man.
that's some heavy material right there.
Yeah, for sure. I wrote this series in the middle of the pandemic while I was watching the world tear itself apart and seeing firsthand how the changing world has affecting children. This is their story, a failed fairy tale for a new generation. So, based on what we've seen so far, what are your thoughts?
I like the motivation. I think the direction and the one thing when you're a writer and they teach you, write what you know, and to see this, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of internal emotion that is going to be emoted through this book. And I'm excited to see that because I'm all about the human condition. I want to know why people think the way they think and react the way they do. And character-driven, motivated stories are always the best in my opinion. So to see that this is his take, this is the direction that he has gone based on his experiences, makes it all the more palatable. Even, it's going to be better than next week's Hulk, so I'm already on board for this. Just let's see the story.
I agree. I think that all of the hype is very well designed and it feels like a blurb that you might see on the back of a book. It's not telling us anything specific about what the journey is, what the goal is. It is teasing us to a fantasy world and teasing us about what it's going to be about. But offering us, enough information to be intrigued. So it's an interesting approach, and I think it's working pretty well for them so far.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and pull up the next one and roll right into these other two. The next one up is The End of All, Terminus 1 and 2. The tagline says, "Submit to death. Science fiction epic space adventure." Submit to death. It's kind of intense.
Just submit to it.
Right.
Here's your application. Fill it out at the door. Submit. Cake or death. Cake or death. Cake, please. Oh,
real
quick.
Run
out of cake. Sorry.
Real quick, just to test my theory, I'm going to stop sharing that window. Okay. And instead try to share that particular thing and see if the audio does any better for you. Let's see. Let's go to, we want End of All. So it's going to show me one tab at a time.
There we go.
Da-da-da. All right. So we got that back again. Let's see. I'm going to play it through and we'll see.
The End of All Terminus is back with this amped up second issue. Check out these stellar covers from Brad Schiff and Dan Price of Bigfoot Knows Karate fame. The second issue sees the crew rocket into the planet of darkness, where they become hunted by its ruthless creatures. Did you love the film Aliens? These creatures are far more nasty and cunning, while holding a mysterious secret that will haunt the crew for issues to come. New characters appear, like Head of Security Nakano, a badass, no-nonsense woman who even Thraxus respects. Joining her is the cocky and tough-as-nails pilot, Orville Yeager. All your favorites are back too, like the Warrior King Thraxus and the wise Salah. But one of these individuals will not survive until the end. Also returning is President Lamar. Her decision this issue will decide the fate of everyone on board the Terminus. I sincerely hope you back The End of All Terminus, Issue 2. This has been a labor of love for both Brad Ship and myself. I think everyone will enjoy this action-packed and thought-provoking second issue. Please back what you can. Let's get this issue made.
Let's get it made.
Let's get it made. Let's make some stuff. Okay, so when you told me the title, the Terminus immediately, in my mind, went to The Walking Dead. Because the Terminus Station, okay? So right away, I'm already trying to overcome that just based on the title. I like the Submit to Death, which, there you go. What I do love is the energy, but here's something, and I'm surprised this is just now coming up. When you do a music bed and dialogue, you need to cut back on that music bed. It needs to be, a smaller amount. So that way your voice is not competing with your music bed. So right there at the beginning, he's a little hot on his music. So when you're creating this video, have its own timeline, just sync it up and lock it in place for the music bed, back off on the gain on that, and maybe pod yourself up a little bit, not too much, so that it kind of balances out. But that music bed is a little too loud, and he's fighting to get his description out for the audio, because there's that clash right at the beginning, and how that's playing out, there's a bit of a little clash. But that's again the professional ear.
Well, honestly, that was one of the very first things I noticed as well. I'm currently working on putting together my Kickstarter video, and I have been looking at different avenues. But you're right. I love the idea of putting a personal touch to it by having your own voice, explain what's going on. I think that's a good approach.
Yep.
Side by side with the visuals, because sometimes, as we've seen in the past, images are coming up and then some more images and slow-mo pans, but then in the end, we still don't know what's going on.
Right.
And so having this voiceover is great, but you're right. It's competing with the music. And in some cases, I was like, wait, what did he say? What was the name of that person? Who was that? And then the other thing is, if there's something important, like key to the story, or like, let's say that you say 3 sentences worth of stuff, but there's 2 or 3 words that are super key, like putting those up on the screen next to, the person that you're talking about or something, like their name, for instance, it's going to make it stand out, because visuals are, stronger than audio, but they're even stronger when you combine them together. So we're going to remember some of this key stuff, because I was kind of struggling with listening to what he was saying, watching the changing imagery, and trying to piece it together over the top of that soundtrack.
Right. Because what I would do, and this is how I would, just as an example, one of his slides, like for the name of the people, rule number 1, breathe. No one can tell your story better than you, but it's how you tell your story. And I love his energy. I love how he projects, and you can feel his heart in this. And through that, he's running through his dialogue. He's speaking very quickly. So like you said, you're losing key words. So my first, and this is anytime I consult or I help someone in the broadcast area, breathe. Your breathing is key. Take a deep breath, let it out, and get it out there. And to your point, putting the name up, before you even say the name, there should be a slide or a power or just some kind of emphasis on that character's name so they see it, and then you say it. So when you're doing a PowerPoint presentation, you always click to the next slide before you start speaking about it. Yeah. So, the captain, see, I know it's a captain, but I couldn't tell you what her name is. So that needs to be a splash, and then...
Especially if it's a made-up name. A name that's like fantasy based, because that's going to be even harder sometimes to remember.
But the character's key because they're returning. All right. So, I mean, I didn't see the last one, but obviously this is an important character that I should. Yeah, next one. She was standing with her arms crossed. I don't see. We forgot the name. I love how excited he is about the project. I think this looks fun, and I'm curious what is going on Terminus now. I like, okay, is the name for Terminus because everyone's going to die? They've submitted the death and they're on the ship to the netherworld, or they're going to catch up with Riddick. I don't know, but I want to read it. I want to find out.
So what did you get from like the video over the top of the audio stuff? What did you get was the premise going on here?
The one premise that I got is everybody's stuck on this ship for whatever reason, and I don't know what that reason is. And these guys love it. There we go. That's the captain. That's the return captain. I know it's a captain because I heard that, but I didn't hear the name because he sped through it so quickly. And I would expect that she's in charge of Terminus. She's the pilot or the captain for the ship, but I don't know anything about the ship and where they're going or why they're on it.
I do notice now that there was a name up in the top corner, but I wasn't, immediately noticing that. I was like focusing on the new image of the character that had appeared.
Right.
So I think it's close. So yeah, I mean, I got the idea that there were people stuck on this ship, but I didn't get a lot else. I almost feel like I needed to go back and watch it again. It introduced me to a lot of the characters, as far as here's a captain person and here's another female character, but I didn't really know like what was going on. Here at the beginning, they show some stuff, and I want to try and play this again. Just a short clip right here.
Entry sees the crew rocket into the planet of darkness, where they become hunted by its ruthless creatures.
So that part right there, I think, is the key part of this whole story, being hunted by creatures. Yep. And not only do I not see the words but his words were kind of buried under the audio. And that's like the crux of this whole thing is there's creatures attacking them, or at least it seems like it. Right. So I do feel like having, those words, hunted by creatures, or just hunted itself, like the word hunted.
Simple, stupid.
Is gonna really have an impact. But all in all, I am intrigued. It's a sci-fi story of some people who seem to be trapped, and there's some monsters involved. And so there's something there. There's 2 issues, plus 5 more PDFs of something. I assume maybe some other books. We'll see.
Right.
Coming down here, because they do appear to have hit their goal. Looks like down below they've jumped into stretch goals. One of the things that Kickstarter can do is allows you to edit the page throughout the campaign. So what a lot of people do is once they've hit their stretch goals, they move and put those at the top so that everyone knows that we're at that point of the campaign, which is a good thing. But on the downside of it, it also means you got to go down farther to find out what this is going on if you didn't quite get it from the beginning. So I'm going to take a look at these 2 paragraphs real quick. The universe is dying. The great rip is tearing it apart. Now the last 7 sentient species in the universe attempt a daring escape aboard the spaceship Terminus. However, these species exist together. However, these species existence, I missed that word, together is anything but harmonious as each vie for control. Only a few will survive till the end. Terminus is captained by President Ada Lamar, an intelligent former soldier who is learning to navigate the complexities of diplomacy among the desperate pieces aboard her ship. Only finding her inner strength and confidence will the crew survive in the journey beyond the universe's boundaries. So there's a lot there. This feels a little bit like Battlestar Galactica, the remake, with some, some space threats, but also some diplomacy and stuff like that.
Some political intrigue.
Yeah, I do feel like when I hear that, I feel like it's going to need a lot of time to unfold and unpack all of that. The more information that I see about this character and this is going on and all that stuff, the more I feel like, oh, this is going to take a while to unpack, and there's no way to cram it into one issue. And I become a little bit hesitant because in the indie comics world, Comics can come out at very sporadic intervals. They're not consistently month by month. And so when I'm backing one that I don't know, I want to make sure that I'm at least getting entertained for the thing that I'm backing.
Right.
And one of the things I feel like I try to work on myself, and there's times where I fall short on this too, is making sure that I create and deliver an individual comic that is entertainment and a good story in its own right, even though it takes place amongst this other stuff happening, so that I can essentially just pitch what's happening in this story, make it feel complete, make it feel like, oh, that sounds fun, I'm going to get my money's worth. And then when I dig into it, realize, oh man, there's more to this before, and maybe some issues I haven't read, as well as looks like there's more coming, and I'm intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's an important balance in comics, because very few people are getting introduced to your comic, and seeing it, from beginning to end, right out of the gate. Usually they're going to fall somewhere in the middle and then have to go back. And you can scare them off. You're like, this is an epic 64 issue tale, or like, whoa, rein it back. I don't know if I can invest in that or not, but so far, what do you think?
I like the character design. I do like the face on the profile picture. It did give me that prison ship, kind of feel to it, and the returning characters. I like that layout. And this is a personal preference, and this is by no means law or religion, but I'm always keen on jumping into the middle of the action. I would love to just be right in the middle of the story, and that gives the reader and the writer room to maneuver, because you can go back and tell stories, but you can continue to move forward. There can be, issues that come behind as fillers to kind of like fill in those holes, so it's not so much diatribe dialogue that you're establishing, especially political stuff. I mean, I love Battlestar Galactica, but by the time, we get to them being president and all of this, I could care less. I mean, I think that how long they drag that out, they lost viewers. And the same can be said in comics. You lose readers when there's not a lot of going on. You have to develop characters. Yes. How you to develop the character is entirely up to you.
I agree with you. I feel like, if, you want to hook people with some small slice, something action oriented, something emotionally impactful, something, some part of it. And then once they're in, start, giving them out. But to try and give everyone like all the things that this universe is about right out of the gate can be a bit challenging.
Yeah, that's a lot to digest. It's like you said, it's a lot to unpack. And at the end, I mean, did you reach them? Did you hook them? Are they coming back? I mean, you said this one's funded, or this one?
Let's see. It is funded. It's only got $1,000 goal, which means that it's a low goal to hit. So the question would be like, are they raising this funds for future artists, future books? Let's see if it says anything about that. A lot of the times, when I did a lot of my first Kickstarters, I had a lot of pretty much the artwork and everything done, ready to go. These are some shots from the interior. They look pretty good.
I mean, the artist style is really, I like the style that these guys have.
Yeah.
Sorry, that sounded very Christopher Walken. I don't know why, but I like it.
But I like it. It's
in my face hole. I'm like, let me dance.
Let's see. This is what I was trying to get to. Why Kickstarter Terminus is a dream project for Jeff, who spent years envisioning characters and stories. Your funds will pay for Brad's ship to continue producing high quality pages. So it is for art. So honestly, I think that, guys, if you like this book, you're probably going to want to go support this, even though you see it at the goal, because my experience has been that $1,000 isn't enough to pay an artist to do a book. So at this point, he's probably only raised enough money to print the book. and could definitely use some more money to pay an artist. Generally, in my experience, if you're just a writer, it costs around $3,500 to $5,000 to fund art for a book, between line art, coloring, lettering, all that stuff, if you're doing it right. And that's just to get the book made. Then you have some printing and advertising on top of that. So if you like this book, be sure and continue to support it. They've still got 12 days left. Let's look at the last one, and then we'll select one. The last one was our reselection to replace Bad Wabbit that had already funded. This one has 15 days to go. It's just shy of their goal. Looks like they're literally $550 away. I think they'll hit it. They got 15 days to go. Let's take a look. Oh, we got the Project We Love stamp too.
Oh, nice.
That's from Kickstarter. Let's take a look. Oh, wait, actually, you can't hear that, can you?
No.
Yeah. So we've discovered the solution to this is to show them one window at a time, or one tab at a time. So I just have to set that up every time. That's okay, though. No problem.
It's okay. You're a technical wizard.
I'm a technical wizard, he says.
Yes.
All right, so let's roll this back.
Okay.
So you'll just have to help remind me if I forget, if I start talking about a campaign that you can't see. Be sure and say, hey, you haven't switched those tabs yet. And that way you can hear it and see what I'm talking about. So let me roll this back. Again, almost to goal, 119 backers, 15 days to go. This says I Drive for Cerber 1 and 2. It's like Uber for the paranormal. Let's take a look. Where's the play button? There we go.
Hey there. I bet you wanted to know about I Drive for Cerber, right? Well, it's about Jim. It's about Jim, the most reputable driver for Cerber. You know, the rideshare transportation service that's like Uber for the paranormal? Well, he just started driving for Cerber, and the pages of this comic book tell of his first nights as a Cerber driver. From his first notification, meeting creepy passengers, making friends, and even trying to avenge his murdered sister's death. And that was just the first issue. This time he has located the killer, but doesn't know the danger that is awaiting for him. This is the epic conclusion to the first story arc of Jim's as he sets out, with a little help from his friends, to achieve what he's been driving after since the story began. It's I Drive for Cerber. So hop in, buckle up, and let's find out together where this crazy ride takes us.
Nice. Oh, we got a clap from Smurf even.
That
Nice.
was textbook voiceover. Music bed was spot on. The inflection was where it needed to be. He paced it. He timed it well. That is a perfect pitch, in my opinion. That is good.
Nice. I totally agree. Like as far as the ones that we've looked at, that definitely felt like the most streamlined, the cleanest. And Ruth says, "Hi, Matt." Hi, Ruth Rudd. But yeah, I feel like you're right. Like I could totally hear what was being said, even though I could still hear some music in the background. I was very clear about what the story was.
Yeah.
First time in a while. And I think that's super important. Because I think some people are afraid that they're going to give too much away. You should be able to give the plot or the premise of a story without giving much away. And I think you did a great job of that. Like I was already intrigued by the premise of this guy driving around. It was a little slow on the intro as far as like there wasn't anything exciting. It was just, hey, here's this guy, but it still had me.
And it was humor. I mean, this is him. Oh, this is him. So I mean,
Yeah.
there's already like a humanistic element to it, which I think that's playing to the strength of the story. Like he he has a vested interest in it, but he is also still human. So
Yep.
you know, that aspect of it is like, okay, I dig it. It went well.
Yeah, yeah. And again, like you said, the sound was spot on as far as not showing or not being too high on the background audio. Why isn't it letting me scroll through?
For Cerber.
There we go. Um,
I mean,
so yeah,
it's got some great comparisons to, you know, what is Cerber, okay, and we get a quick dialogue on that. We get a quick breakdown, and I could almost see just an issue of the different patrons. You know, I could just you wouldn't even have to like focus on like the overarching story. So
right.
we could get some fun interactions of just how this guy's life is, and I like that aspect of it because we don't have to go directly into it. I know this is like the second part of the story, but I think you could actually get, you know, a few more issues, or if you go into deeper storytelling as a bigger arc unravels itself, that would even be cooler just to see just the full night of him carrying people around, or I'm sorry, undead around.
The undead. Yeah, I got the impression too that he's managed to make some friends with some of these undead, and they're going to go help him for whatever reason, like accomplish his goals. So I like that there was enough information in there for me to go off of and really want to know more. The artwork looks pretty good, and there's definitely enough here all the way around that I'm intrigued. But I definitely feel like by far this video has delivered the strongest for me.
Yep, I would agree.
Then down here it says 36-page full color paranormal comic, creepiest live ride of a lifetime or after. Who's this made for? Spooky tales. Jim finds face to face with things that lurk in the shadows when he applies for a new job. On-demand transportation service. It's like Uber for the paranormal. Now he has to make sure both his passengers and himself arrive safely while facing ghosts from his past, literally. I drive for Cerber will have you double checking your rearview mirrors and realizing that sometimes the things you try to leave behind are closer than they appear. Looks like they've got some like fake commercials going on here, which is kind of fun. I'll look at those later. That's pretty fun. So a lot of clarity, a lot of like down here we talk about this particular issue with this, what happens in this issue here. So I really like that clarity. I forgot I wasn't showing this again, dude. You got to let me know. So, all right, it's time. We've reached around an hour. We've taken a look at 3 different campaigns. We've got this current one, I Drive for Cerber. Let's see if I can find a nice, there we go, that'll work. Then we've got the Terminus, End of All, and then we have the Neverland hardcover. So cast your vote. I'm gonna say we try this a little bit differently. I'm gonna say let's write down on a piece of paper what our vote is. We'll hold it up, and if we vote the same, then we get it. If we vote differently, then we're gonna have to like Rochambeau or something. I don't know. Let's make it fun, right? Getting something to write with here. Like I said, we like to wing it around here. I'm writing mine down now. All right. We need a little like countdown clock. Cecil Lammy says that was a great trailer. Fantastic idea too. I agree, Cecil, and welcome to the show. We are about to announce which ones we think. Are you ready, Smurf?
I'm ready.
All right, on 3, 1, 2, 3. Hold yours up. Looks like we both voted for Cerber. All right, congratulations.
Can you see my artwork there? I'm a budding artist. I like the relay.
Is that no sperm? Is that what that says?
Yes. Yes, Baron. I like to relate my emotions through my art.
Oh, okay. Well, again, congratulations to iDrive for Cerber and the creators of this project. It looks like Sean Barber is listed as the creator, and we will be backing your campaign very shortly. And congratulations to the other creators and other campaigns that made it on the show. Again, if you didn't get selected to be one of the 3 that we looked at, then you're welcome to submit again for next week's show, as long as your campaign is still active by Friday at 11, when we normally try to do our show.
Yep.
This show was delayed from Friday, but we followed up with a reschedule. So that being said, let's sign off. My name is Matt Campbell. You can see all of my work on Instagram, YouTube, anywhere, usually just at Matt Campbell Art. I am the creator of a comic book series called Mythica, which has a new issue coming out in a week or two, a couple weeks at least, on Kickstarter. And then I also have my company, Action Line Studios, which is where we're broadcasting this through. And then Smurf, where can they find you at?
I'm Smurf with 5280 Geek. You can go to Instagram, Facebook, or our website, 5280geek.com. We are under all of those. Our podcast is available on all platforms. So feel free to go and explore and give us a like, give us a share. My take is out there for your entertainment, and I'm always interested in what your thoughts are after listening to me ramble endlessly about ideas and things.
All right, guys, be sure and like this video. Liking this video appeases Skynet and gets us more views. So please sure and follow. Also, if you are an indie creator and know of other indie creators that are making comics, be sure and share this to them so they can see what we're doing, as we do want to continue to do this week after week to showcase all the great indie comics out there and the great stories that are trying to be told. And for those of you that want to deep dive into making comics, I do have 3 different categories on Patreon at patreon.com/Actionline Studios. And one of them is particularly for creating comics, where I will review feedback on pages or campaigns. Also, there's exclusive content as we make Mythica, and you get involved in seeing some of the behind the scenes content. And there's also member only streams going on. So lots of stuff you can see there. Patreon.com/Actionline Studios. For today, thank you for everyone. My name is Matt. I'm signing off.
Smurf here. Run fast, laugh hard, and always be kind. Good night.
All right.